You were gone for the week, so we need to catch up on some news.
Okay, let's do it.
These are the 3 biggest news stories that you and I didn't discuss because you were absent.
Absent, yes. I was absent from
Absent
school.
from the house for the better part of a week.
Yeah.
First piece of news that I'm sure you have heard about.
Okay.
The evergreen ship blocking the Suez Canal.
I was late to the party on that, but yes, I know about it.
That, to me, I don't know how something like that happens.
I don't either.
How can a ship that's just meant to go straight get so kitty-womped that it blocks 12% of the global trade market?
I know. I keep thinking, do I have something on one of those ships sitting outside the Suez Canal that I'm waiting to get? And there's every possibility I do.
So when you hear 12%, I think a lot of people think like, oh my gosh, the whole world is going to turn into chaos. And I read an article that said, like, honestly, if it does affect prices, which it really shouldn't, it's pennies on the dollar.
Because that's all we're concerned about.
Of course.
Pricing. Right.
But the best part about this whole debacle is this ship is a massive ship. It's 1/4 of a mile long and it's 247,000 tons. Okay.
Unbelievable.
And it is kittywomped. It's not like fully 90 degrees, perpendicular to the canal, but it certainly lodged itself. And so what the powers that be, middle management or upper management, thought one singular bulldozer and 2 men would dislodge this.
Well, there you go. Not a lot of money spent on expenses and resources.
Put on your global logistics hat for me, Deb.
Yeah.
While simultaneously maybe putting on a CEO or, I don't know, COO hat. In what world would you look at a massive ship blocking a canal holding up 12% of the global economy and saying, guys, don't worry, Debs on the case. We already got a bulldozer out there.
Yeah. The thing, now we're going to discover all the things that I don't know about logistics and giant ships. But the thing about
I think the majority of the listening audience is with us.
So can we assume that the part of the giant ship we see is kind of like an iceberg? There's a ton of the giant ship below the waterline.
Again, being a amateur logistics canal expert, I'm assuming the canal is extremely deep to be able to let 1/4 of a mile ships through. And so its front end got lodged
in the mud,
on the reef,
on the bank. It's a reef, the bank. Yeah.
So yeah, I imagine if we're talking about 100% of the ship from top to bottom, let's say 15% of it, 20% of it's sub water.
Yeah, I don't know.
And enough of it hit the bank to where
it's stuck.
But at what point did anybody think like, guys, we're good. This single bulldozer, which looks like a micro machine compared to this thing, is going to be the thing that dislodges it.
I don't know. What seems like it would have made sense to me, because my impression from looking at it is that the front is lodged. Do you mean like
totally
stuck?
Yeah, it is run aground.
Or the part that is closest to the bank, whether that's the front of the ship or not. I don't know. Aft, stern, I don't know. So
we watch enough Below Deck. We should know all of this stuff.
I feel like I have the language, but I could use it in the wrong place.
The new season, Below Deck, merchants.
Exactly. So isn't there or aren't there a number of, I'm going to say tugboats, but tugboat might not be the right thing, and many of them that could latch on to the rear and
push the rear
out
back while pulling the front forward.
It seems like pulling the rear back would undo the front, right?
That makes sense in my dumb brain.
And straighten it out, kind of.
Yeah, where you tie 10 tugboats to the back, 10 tugboats to the front. They both, all 10, 5 and 5, or 20, pull in the opposite direction, which then straightens that thing out.
Plus, I don't know much about the Suez Canal. I know it's not the Panama Canal for sure, just because it's called the Suez Canal. But do we not have the ability? Does it not have the thing like the Panama Canal where we can put more water in it?
Oh, the lock system?
The lock system.
How about that? How about that pull for old Kev logistics
Exactly.
guy?
Like, does that not exist?
It literally looks like somebody dug a channel through Egypt and then put water in it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's that elaborate.
Okay, so we don't have a lock system. So I'm still going to go back to the pull it back from where it came from.
Got it.
Straighten it out.
Yep.
And let it go.
There's a lot of hilarious memes that have come from this, but I'll tell you, for something that's been stuck for going on close to a week now, for the Egyptian authorities to say we should have it dislodged in 10 days, a ship being stuck for 3 weeks is like, what world are we living in? That's crazy to me.
And there is food rotting somewhere, right?
Oh,
don't we know that?
Or sneakers, or
sneakers are fine.
Baby formula. I don't know, something coming from.
The other thing today, did you see that they managed to move it 2 inches at one point? Which I don't even know how you measure 2 inches on a thing that big.
That could just be a tide.
But what ended, like all the tugboats like tooted their horns, like there was great celebration.
So that gave us a bunch of great memes. And again, we don't know anything about shipping, logistics, or canals.
We could be totally wrong.
But we wanted to join the party. The second piece of news is there's supposed to be a UFO report coming out. Did you know about this? Did you hear about this?
This I missed. Go ahead. At
the Pentagon, they have a committee, and it is called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, or UPT.
Okay.
For short. And it has been ordered to prepare a detailed overview of the UFO mysteries and submit it to Congress. Senator Rubio said that was confirmed and that should be seeing the light of day. In this world of total chaos and bipartisanship and conspiracy theorists,
we agreed.
What would happen if there was a report that said, hey, so remember how we told you there weren't aliens? We're pretty sure they do exist. We have evidence of it, and they may or may not be walking amongst us. Have a great Tuesday.
Oh my gosh. And would that be great if that were the things that the Republicans and Democrats agreed on? That there are,
that they exist, aliens, or that we hate them and we're going to go to war with them?
That they're there. That at least they're there.
Did you ever think you would see a point in our history where we would talk so openly about aliens, let alone put a brief in front of Congress that will be made public about their existence?
Well, I am going to say this week, I'm not going to say where I was or who the people were, but I'm going to say highly intelligent people, not foolish people. And they told a story where there were 6 of them standing outside, a couple on a deck above, but then everybody else right below. And everybody saw the exact same thing. And it wasn't like heavy drinking was involved. And they
just light drinking.
And light drinking, maybe. And they were convinced. They saw this, they described it like a galaxy of stars, but the galaxy of stars was sort of joined together in a formation, and the galaxy of stars moved against the background of the sky of the real stars. Okay. Does that make sense? And you could see planes like above, the galaxy, and then the galaxy, like it moved, like very...
Wait, hold on. These are people They're not telling a secondhand story.
Oh,
this group of people saw it together.
Was
this the opening ceremonies of the Beijing Olympics? Is that what we're talking about?
And then it dropped down like way below like where planes would fly, right? And kind of did this weird, like we think of space, craft movement. And kind of circled around and then whoosh, gone. And they thought it was a singular entity or multiple entities? They thought it was a coordinated entity.
What does that mean?
Meaning like
I'm coordinated.
If it were many, they were bound together.
Got it. They were individual pieces.
See my hands right now.
They were individual pieces that made up the whole.
100% convinced.
Got it.
Not what it was, but that it wasn't.
Do you believe them? So mild drinking, heavy ayahuasca.
What's ayahuasca?
Oh, it's like a drug.
No ayahuasca. No, I'm talking about like maybe we just opened a bottle of wine, not heavy drinking.
Got it. And all 6 of these people swear on it.
Men and women.
Good, because if it was only men, lies.
Right. Like, and one of the women was saying something like, oh my God, like, I mean, they're here. Should we do something? I mean, like, it was that kind of feeling.
She started waving at him.
Well, no, I don't think it was that. I think they were just dumbfounded by it all.
Without launching an entirely different podcast, do you believe in aliens, yes or no?
I believe that there's life other than us.
I 1,000% believe in aliens.
Oh, okay, there you go.
In an endless, vast, infinite universe, you're telling us, human beings, are the only thing that exists?
And what if we're the dummies?
What if we're the dummies? Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that question's been asked and answered. So we have ships blocking a canal.
Yeah.
Conversely, on the other, and that feels like that's something that should happen in I don't know, the 1200s.
And that kind of proves that we're the dummies.
Exactly.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Now we're talking about extraterrestrial life.
Yep.
But here's the most important piece of news that happened this week, of which, if you've heard about this, even better. Did you hear about the Shrimpammon Toast Crunch scandal?
The what?
Shrimpammon Toast Crunch. Just try to say that for me real quick.
Shrimpammon
Toast Crunch.
Shrimpammon Toast Crunch.
Like cinnamon toast crunch.
Oh.
Shrimpammon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, this thing
I have no
took
idea what you're talking
the
about.
internet over by storm.
What do I miss when I'm working?
This is why I love being alive when I'm alive. Shrimpammon Toast Crunch. There's a guy. He's a writer in LA. His name's Jensen Karp, like the fish.
Okay.
He is married to, I think, every millennial male's crush growing up. Do you remember Topanga Lawrence from Boy Meets World?
Oh, yeah, the girl with the long hair?
Yes, Danielle Fishel. So we have a guy named Karp married to a woman named Fish. Mm-hmm. And he found in his morning cereal, they eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. He poured it out, and out came a bunch of the cereal and then sugar-coated shrimp tails.
What?
What transpired was the definition of living in 2021. He dumps them out, takes a picture of it. It's like, I think I'm losing my mind here, turns to Twitter, right? Tags Cinnamon Toast Crunch in this. And of course, if this isn't the best thing about being alive right now is you can text a company, a Fortune 500 company, a General Mills company, I think, and they'll respond to you immediately.
But you can't call them.
Nope. And he says, I'm pretty sure I found these shrimp tails coated in Cinnamon Toast Crunch sugar in my bag. To which Cinnamon Toast Crunch responds by saying well, I don't know that that's the case, but, we would certainly like to talk to you about this offline. Then he starts the dialogue and just showing the interactions where he says, yeah, I mean, these are clearly shrimp tails and they're coated in cinnamon. And without having any evidence of this, Cinnamon Toast Crunch says, we think that just from these pictures looks like a bunch of the sugar just coagulated in the form of a shrimp tail. And he's like, I'm touching it. I'm looking at it. I'm telling you right now, these are shrimp tails that have been consumed. They're now coated in Cinnamon Toast Crunch. To which Cinnamon Toast Crunch says, why don't you go ahead and mail those to us?
What?
Right? How weird is that? He's like, I'm not going to mail any of this to you. And they said, well, for us to run a thorough investigation on this, we need evidence of it. To which he's like, well, I don't know that this warrants an investigation by any stretch of the imagination.
Can't he just rinse them off?
Then it gets weirder. In the bag, he also finds dental floss, and he finds pieces of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that have this baked black stuff on it, to which some other follower of his says, that's rat poop, my guy.
What?
So all of this starts spiraling out of control.
Unhappy employees in that Cinnamon Toast Crunch plant.
Theories ranged from the bag was tampered with,
right,
to a mouse or a rat got into a batch of the cereal, the sugar, and made a nest. Nobody caught it, and that's the stuff that got mixed together.
Oh, that was eating shrimp on the side and didn't like the tail.
But again, the poop and the dental floss, okay, I don't know why a rat would find dental floss in a factory.
No, but he might make it into a nest if he found it.
But where?
Again, here's what I'm saying. I got a really, really, I've got an employee that is mad, and I'm like, eating shrimp and then dental flossing my teeth and just throwing it in the lawn.
To be fair, I think at the point that somebody saw shrimp and dental floss, they'd be like, oh, that's Deb's MO. She's always flossing and bringing peel and eat shrimp to work.
Joe brings shrimp.
So I think it was unanimous. Everybody agreed that Cinnamon Toast Crunch didn't handle it the best way, which is like, hey, we'll talk to you offline. By the way, we're going to send you infinite amounts of Cinnamon Toast Crunch swag and cereal.
If I'm Cinnamon Toast Crunch and I realize that guy's married to her and they have any kind of following, I've got like the next guy on a plane to say and take it very seriously and give them whatever they want to make them a friend.
So here's a rapid fire.
Okay.
Give me a spin zone if you're PR for the Suez Canal ship.
So what country is that ship from? Do we know?
I don't know.
I don't.
It says Evergreen on it, if that means anything.
Yeah, I don't think that means anything. I think that you have to, like, for me, if I'm the Suez Canal people, I think that I want to blame the captain of the ship.
Right.
You know, like it's totally his fault.
Right? Well, we're spin zoning this. We're PRing this.
Okay, so we're saying like, you know, it was human error.
Yep.
We're doing everything we can. Sadly, I think you have to tell the truth. You know, sadly, like explain it to us. Explain it like how you and I are morons.
Explain it to me like I'm two.
Exactly. And just say like, you know, it's lodged in the front. We've got logistics experts coming in from all over the world. We welcome anyone's help on this because this is in fact a worldwide problem, trying to solve it as quickly as we can.
Spin zone the existence of aliens as a government official.
I think that you just say it's not that any of us did believe or didn't believe in the past. In the past, we didn't have enough documentation or the technology to make a decision either way. We have come to a place now that we have a good amount of data, and we think we should open it up to the public so that people can make their own decisions.
Spin zone finding shrimp in your cereal.
And this is the hardest one of all. Let's see. We had a disgruntled employee that we were unaware of. The disgruntled employee has been dealt with. None of this has to do with contamination or the cleanliness of the factory or our protocols. The problem has been solved.
Debsy, the consummate professional. Let's start the podcast.
Welcome to the Deb and Kev podcast. One is a Harvard Business School alum. The other is her son, discussing business, pop culture, family, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Deb and Kev.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the Deb and Kev podcast. Sitting all the way over there doing her best Rip Van Winkle impression this weekend, it's my mom, Deb.
I'm Deb.
And if I had to choose a literary figure for myself, sadly, it'd probably be like Lenny from Mice and Men. I'm her son, Kev, and this is our podcast. Do you get that reference? Do you remember fifth grade?
Lenny?
Lenny, the one who kills the rabbits and then George has to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, creepy.
I was waiting for that one to sink in.
Jack and the Beanstalk or something.
No, I was waiting for the English major to get that literary reference. On today's show, in her business segment, Deb is going to talk to us about the principles of likability. So hold on to your butts. And it has been a long, long time since we played Use It in a Sentence. And while I don't have any more Gen Z words for you, because I think you actually know them all now and can appropriately use them, instead we're going to turn our focus to the world of streaming. And the world of streaming, video games, content, like every other industry or genre, has its own verbiage. And we are going to test Deb's verbiage on some bizarre words.
And I don't even know. Like when you tell me things, I have to have you break it down and explain it to me.
Trust me. We'll give you some background here.
Okay.
And as always, we will end the show talking about all the wonderful things that we are thankful for and what we're whipping up for dinner. But first, Deb, you got on a plane.
Got on an airplane. So
take me through me dropping you off at the airport to me picking you up at the airport. We all want to know, what is it like traveling now?
Well, if you remember, TSA didn't print out on my boarding pass.
Yes, you are the queen of there's just one thing I didn't do before we left. There's just like one thing I didn't do. And I'm like, and that could be anything. It could be like, oh, did I turn the hair curler off? Or, oh, I forgot a bag of M&Ms. And we were in the car and you picked up your phone and you're like, oh, dang it. TSA doesn't show up on my digital boarding pass.
Right.
We're in the car. There's literally nothing we can do besides you called American and said, hey, this doesn't exist. And the woman who was super nice was like, yeah, it doesn't.
Sorry, can't help you, girlfriend. She was really nice, actually.
Super nice, but there was nothing she could do. So that's how it kind of started. Honestly, it didn't start just then, though. If we back up a day, both of your flights got canceled.
Oh, both of the flights got canceled because there was weather in Dallas. And so I went the next day. And so I did what you said. I just went and tried to print a boarding pass.
Yep.
And it printed with TSA on it. So I was super happy because here's the thing. If anybody knows this, if they have TSA, you pack one way if you have TSA.
Totally.
You pack a whole different way if you don't. And I had packed for TSA.
Correct.
Right? So I took the extra time to go fill it all in and get the printed boarding pass. It said TSA. I'm so happy. I get there. TSA is closed.
Before that, before your fruitless work,
yes.
What was the line like for customer service, and what were the customer service reps like? Just business as usual?
Yeah.
Standard amount of people?
Totally normal.
Everybody masked up.
But it felt like, I just went to the little kiosk to print my thing, but because I thought about going in the priority line. There were some people in front of me. And I got done before they did. It felt like totally normal. And the airport felt, for the time of day that I arrived there, fairly normal.
Which was kind of early noonish. Yeah. So you get there, you fret over not having TSA pre-check.
Yep.
You go get the boarding pass that says TSA pre-check. You go to TSA pre-check, closed. Mm-hmm. So then you go through security, totally normal.
Well, I did find this other line. I'm not sure who it was from.
Mystery line?
Because the line went all the way back out to the hallway.
Right.
I'm not going to stand in that line.
Oh, so, it was heavy. I'm expecting like 20 people.
Because TSA was closed.
Weird.
Yeah. So.
And this was midday.
Midday. So there was another line. I don't know who it was for.
But it was shorter and you said, that's the line for me.
There was no one in it. So I just walked in it. And then a guy said to me, I think this is for airline personnel, a guy in the long line.
Yeah. And you're like, let's see.
And I said, no, I think it's priority. I have priority on my boarding pass. Which I did.
Yeah.
But I just decided it was for priority.
Sure.
And actually.
We call that Deb logic.
And the guy taking the boarding passes heard me say that and didn't correct anybody.
Wow.
So I got right through. But shoes off, computer out, liquids out.
Boot off.
I took the boot off. They said I could leave it on, and I just was like, no, take it all off, get through.
And then what was the concourse like?
Concourse was fine. Everything was totally normal, only everybody had masks on. They do go through this warning, like Americans said, they listed these things that will no longer be okay, like scarves, like, like you can't use a scarf as a face mask? Nope.
Got it.
Those things they wear on Survivor. What are those things called?
Buffs.
Buffs are not masks,
Got
right?
It.
And
so do they have masks for you to use?
They said they did.
Okay.
I didn't see them, but they said they did. And then they said, it's a federal criminal offense if you don't wear.
Wow.
They went on and on and on, right? So flying initially out, because remember, everything had been canceled the day before, right? So it was a good jet, brand new jet. Everything was terrific on it. There was one seat open on the plane, and it was the middle seat next to me.
Nice.
Couldn't have been happier. Everything was terrific. And then really close, short connection.
Oh, no, you're skipping over things, Deb.
Okay.
Let me lead this brigade.
Okay.
You get on the plane.
Yeah.
All the stewardesses are masked up. Mm-hmm. Everybody's masked up. Mm-hmm. You sit down. Are there new protocols? Is there new verbiage? Have they incorporated wearing masks, how long you can wear masks into the spiel?
No, just that masks are required. They actually didn't say, which I expected them to say something like, of course you can take your mask off if you're drinking water but they didn't address that on my plane.
Did you bring snacks on the plane?
Of course.
To work your hack, which is as long as I have food in my hands, whether I'm eating it or not, this mask can stay off.
I did.
How long did you try to keep that mask off for?
Oh, it was off for a long time.
Was it liberating? Did you feel like you were cheating the system a little bit?
So there was a guy at the window. I was on the aisle.
You sent a picture of him.
I did. Because clearly he didn't want to wear his mask. You could tell.
Yeah.
And so as soon as the plane took off, when we were in the air, he took what looked to me like a dish towel.
Okay.
And he threw it over his head.
I thought it was a little bigger than that.
Maybe it was bigger than that.
But I'm going to pull up this picture just so I can see it.
It looked like dish towel fabric.
Yeah, okay.
And he threw it over his head.
Yeah, it does look like a dish towel pattern, but it is...
Is it a scarfy thing?
It's longer than that.
Okay. Threw it over his head and then immediately pulled his mask off.
Yeah.
So I don't think like that qualifies for a mask. However, I didn't really care. I mean, he was asleep. Who cares?
Sure. It was his microaggression of watch me. I'm going to work the system by putting a dish towel over my face.
And he fell sound asleep. So he wasn't bothersome or anything.
Yep.
And they come by and I thought like, I don't know, like maybe you would get a bottle of water, maybe a Diet Coke too. Some like a little
like
can.
You would have an option for either or.
Yep, but that's not how it works.
Got it.
So picture a quart Ziploc, about that size.
For like a sandwich?
Bigger than a sandwich.
Got it.
And you know how like when you buy things at the grocery store, there's the perforation piece before you can get to the Ziploc part?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the bag. Perforation piece, so you can tell if somebody has touched.
So it's not like the stewardesses were packing your lunch just before you got on the plane.
That didn't happen.
Okay.
And they pass one of these to everybody. And this is what first class gets too, except first class can also have alcohol.
Oh, great.
But
only water and booze.
But they can't pour your drink. They now hand you the little bottle where before they couldn't hand you
all the alcoholics in the world are like, oh, thank God.
They hand you the little bottle.
Hilarious.
And the side, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
So they just hand everybody this Ziploc bag, and the Ziploc bag has like the tiniest bottle of water in the world.
Yep.
It has like, I'm assuming I had pretzels in mine, but it looked like there were
Can't eat those.
Different things. Can't eat those. And then one single wipe, disinfectant wipe.
Nice.
And so she put one in the center seat between the guy and I.
Just in case.
Just in case. It's a 3-hour flight. What is that? Maybe 8 ounces of water, right?
Right.
And they won't.
Oh, so like you can't go get a second bag. You are only given this singular bag.
Exactly.
And that's all you can bring.
I don't think.
Or all you can be given.
I think they don't want people lined up at the bathroom. I just think they're trying to control the whole thing.
We need them dehydrated as much as humanly possible.
So I took the sleeping guy's bag and I took his water. And I took his wipe.
Yeah.
And then when she came around, I threw his stuff and my other stuff away.
Yeah.
So it looked like I just had one bottle of water left.
Sure.
You know, I mean, you snooze, you lose, right? Was that wrong of me to do you think?
Well, I mean, if he was asleep the entire time, breathing in the toxins of his dish towel and didn't seem any the wiser, I don't see the issue.
And didn't wake up until we were landing,
Yeah.
you know. And then you get off and that's it. I mean, like they don't come around. I mean, they do that thing, they threw that stuff at us like,
So I imagine the connectors were the same, and I imagine coming back was the same. Nobody lost their mind. There was no video-worthy moment of somebody standing up for their civil liberties.
I got up and went to the bathroom once.
And somebody screamed at you.
No.
Okay.
And I just kind of looked around to see, like, did it seem like people were irritated with each other? You know, this is what I saw over and over again. People had done what I had done. And I will just say on my particular flight, this worked. Mm-hmm. Okay. I had a bag of like a giant trail mix kind of bag of things. Okay. I had it on the tray.
Yep. Open.
With my hand resting near it.
Did you? Hold on.
With my lid off my water.
I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about how we have trying to game the flight industry. Did you debate how close your hand needed to be for someone to determine whether or not it was actively going to go into the bag? Because I would be like, if my hands are by my side, way too far away. But it's not going to be comfortable for my hand to be resting in the bag. So if my hand is like 3 to 4 inches in the same proximity of the bag,
Yeah.
that's safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. And, it was a newer jet, so it had that little thing where your phone or your iPad or anything can sit up at the top of the seat.
Yep.
So that was sitting up there. And when I walked through, I am not lying to you, the greater majority of people had some kind of food sitting on their tray.
Nobody eating anything.
But eating anything with masks just hanging off one ear.
Totally.
Right? So the mask was there
Sure.
in the event of an emergency,
Yeah.
doing what they wanted to do.
What a great question. What happens in the event of emergency? Do you have to take your mask off before putting your mask on? And then does the parent take their mask off, put their mask on
my
first, then take their
gosh.
child's mask off and put their child's mask on first? Or second?
Kevin, I never pay attention during that part.
Clearly.
And I was a little worried because I was in an exit row
Yep.
and I had the boot on and the deal with the boot in the
Yep.
exit row. Though flight attendants don't care.
At all.
At
It's
all.
everybody before the flight attendants that care.
Exactly. And so, they just look you in the eye and say, are you willing and capable?
Yeah.
That's all they
You're
care.
like, I'm part cyborg. I'm fine.
Yeah. In fact, I can kick the door
Yeah.
out with this
I don't even need
boot.
to pull on anything.
Exactly. No, I didn't listen to that. So I don't know. I mean, I apparently heard it 4 times, but
It'd
I
be
didn't
hilarious
listen
if
to it.
those dropped and people started taking their masks off to put that
And
mask
then they
on.
screamed at
And I was
us.
like, put your mask on. Put it on. It's circulating
Yeah.
air. Okay, so
But it
then
was the same in the airport. People, if they had snacks, had their masks off.
fair.
Yeah.
So we don't need to talk more about this, but you did say something that I heard, which is flying is like a muscle. You have to exercise it. Did you feel somewhat discombobulated?
I am out of shape.
Got it.
So I think the thing that threw me with the TSA thing is I feel like I never really unpacked when I traveled so much before.
Yeah.
So little things were already ready to go. Do you mean like all the little travel size things, all the little, little zipper pouches that held this and zipper pouches that held that? I knew how to pack a certain suitcase. I knew everything. That muscle memory left me it was almost 13 months to the day.
Yep.
So it left me. So I wasn't quite as confident. And then there just is a certain, the in and out, the moving around the airport, the in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt a little bit out of shape.
There's
for
a
it.
rhythm and you're
Rhythm,
off
yeah.
a little bit.
Little bit, felt a little bit off. I do think for no good reason, I just feel like wearing the masks slows things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it could be because we don't hear people as clearly, right? Conversations or directions take a little longer.
For sure.
But that's kind of what it felt like.
I mean, it's difficult for people under normal circumstances who don't fly a lot to go through the whole process. The incorporation of not being able to hear or see people's facial expressions can certainly hinder that even greater.
Right. And it is, such a communication issue for sure. But I do think, I don't know, I just want to say this for all the people that wear masks to work every day, because you and I haven't had to do that.
Nope.
Right. I had a mask on Friday for should have had a mask on or was in some process of a mask on for 12 hours.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
But were you happy to fly?
I was happy to fly. Totally.
Deb's business segment this week.
Yeah.
We are talking about, and by we, I mean the royal we, which is just you, are talking about the principles of likability. I generally have an understanding of what you're talking about, kind of, sort of, sometimes, depending on the topic. I don't know what any of this means. I know what a principal is, the person in schools.
You mean like the principal at your elementary school?
I know what likability is, but what happens when you smash them together?
So principal, PRINCPLE.
Okay, you know what's really funny is you spelt that out, right? You just said it for us. I was sitting here typing it earlier, and I thought, why can't I spell this word principal? Because I wanted to put a B in there. Principal, not principal. That's really funny that you said that.
Principal both ways. It doesn't change from principal to principal.
Right. It just felt wrong when I was typing it. So the fact that you spelt it out, I was just like, oh, great. Maybe she was struggling a little bit like I was because I'm an idiot.
So your principal at your school was PAL, your pal.
Got it.
Okay. And this is PLE.
Correct.
Okay. So.
And that was English with Deb and Kev.
So there is a gentleman named Robert Cialdini.
familiar. I think he's been referenced on this podcast
I think
before.
he has before. And he has a book, and it was written a number of years ago. And I think it's called Influence. I think that's really just principles of influence, maybe. But if you look
How to influence people and garner favor. Was that the name of the book?
No, that wasn't the name of the book.
Got it.
No. Robert Cialdini wrote this book, and there are 6 principles in it. But we're going to talk about the principle of likability today.
Now, of the 6, why does likability stand out to you?
Because it's easy.
And everybody should be able to do it?
And everybody should be able to do it.
Got it.
Okay? So Robert Cialdini, this is the thing. He talks about using these principles, but he talks about using them ethically and genuinely, meaning we're not scamming people or doing anything irregular.
Yeah, it's not the principles of manipulation.
That's not what it is. But in some cases, you are trying to influence people.
Sure.
But not difference between influence and manipulate. Do we agree?
Clearly.
Okay.
I mean, yes, I think manipulation has more of a negative connotation to it. And influence is just, hey, this is who I am. Hopefully it garners some positive attention from you as it relates to me.
You were going to use that word one way or the other, weren't you?
What?
Garner. Garner favor earlier, garner attention now.
I didn't even know that I said it before.
So,
by the way, this is a word-heavy podcast today.
It is. So Cialdini believes that if we are more likable, so if I'm more likable to you,
Yep.
I have a better chance of influencing you.
By the way, I'm just going to say this. You can hear it in her voice. It is the nicest
sorry.
day that we have had in Northern Nevada this year. Blue skies, 70 degrees, and everything is in bloom right now. I've been coughing a little bit. It is just existing in her throat. The allergies are right now. So we are going to push through this to the best of our ability, but she's not dying. She didn't get COVID on the plane. She's got her shots. It's just the weather is so nice and our bodies are trying to adjust. Continue.
Exactly. So Cialdini, one of his principles is likability. So let's talk about you own a coffee shop, right?
My family used to.
Right. You're a barista.
I used to be one of those.
Okay. And you know people are in line to buy something, right?
Yes.
Possibly a coffee. But here's the thing. You might want them to buy a scone, or you might want them to buy a breakfast sandwich, or you might want them to buy something more.
Yep.
So the only way that you can influence them, now a lot of people do suggestive selling, which is most consumers can see through that, where you just are suggesting everything around you.
Is that like upselling?
Upselling.
Got
exactly.
It. Would you guys like to try a freckled margarita for an extra $4?
Exactly. That kind of thing. And the truth is that doesn't work that often.
I don't know when that ever worked. I don't know when anybody was like, you know what's going to work really well? When we start pushing food and drink items on people that they never asked for while quoting the price.
And when people do that with me, I always have this, I think something nefarious is going on. I think like, oh, so somebody over-ordered the margarita mix, something like that.
Would you like our fish of the day? No, I don't, because that's got a day left before you throw it away. So it's either my belly or the dumpster.
Exactly. That's exactly how I think. However, and especially if you think about a new patron walking into your place, right? So how can you as a barista in a very short period of time, be more likable to influence somebody to do something,
sure.
Right? So there's 3 ways that Cialdini says. And they can't be obvious. And this is the authentic part of it. They really need to be genuine,
yep.
Okay?
It needs to come from a place of you're not looking for something in return.
Right.
Other than that person having a good experience.
So I'll give you an example. The glasses I have on.
Yes.
I just looked at some old picture the other day, and these glasses are 3 or 4 years old. And I knew I've had them for a while, but I didn't realize I've had them that long. Here's the reason probably that I still have these glasses. It's because I get compliments on them all the time.
Would those be considered cat eye glasses?
I think they are cat eye glasses.
Thank you.
And I mean, people say stuff, but every time I never get weary of that compliment. And usually it's somebody like a barista.
Yeah.
That says, oh my God, I love your glasses. And I love they'll say I like the little pink or, whatever.
Looks like you have a little pink eyebrow.
Exactly. So that causes me, number one, to keep my glasses.
Of course.
But also it causes me to go, she and I are the same. We both have good taste.
She gets me.
She gets me, right? So one of the ways to do something like that is to give a genuine compliment,
yep.
right? Now you can't stand there and tell every woman you like her blouse. because 3 women down, they heard it.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
You know, but if you find something that is, I always say conversational, so you can easily mix it into the conversation, right?
Yep.
And even if it's somebody that is terribly unattractive, and I could be terribly unattractive with these glasses on, so people could find something, right?
Yep.
So I actually remember at Emerald City, there was a customer that we had, and it was an older guy, and he was always really dressed nicely, but not an attractive man, and age had not done him well.
Yeah.
But I am telling you, he had the most beautiful blue eyes in the world. And I remember saying to him, oh my gosh, your blue eyes. And I said something like, they're dreamy or something. Yeah. And months later, he said something to me, in passing, like, because it came in all the time, like, do you still like my blue eyes? And I was like, I do.
That man's name was Bjorn, and he lives in Norway now.
That's not true.
Got it.
So anyways, I just think little things like that, you find it, right? You find it.
Of course. And if you're actively looking for it, like we talk about flying as a muscle you have to exercise,
Right.
If you're actively looking for something to compliment someone on that is distinctive to them, it just eventually becomes innate.
You start doing it. You start looking for it.
Yep.
It's really like the gratefulness thing.
Totally.
Where you start noticing the little butterfly or whatever it is. One of the other things is if you and I have a commonality, right? If there's something that we share.
Yeah.
So the reason I like using the barista example is because that's a very brief interaction, right? You come and go. So if a barista can do it, anybody can do it, in their interaction.
Especially because you don't even necessarily need to interact with the barista, because as long as they're creating your drink, that's all you need from them. And if that drink is good, then they've done their job. But if they add on a compliment, well, that's a couple cherries on top.
Right. And especially if you're a new customer, you're going to go, wow, I found this great little spot. I think it's a little bit different with our existing customers that we already have, something with. So anyways, the other thing is this commonality. And it can be anything from, you hear somebody in line talking about, I don't know, the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
And you go, I'm from Seattle. Do you mean I love the Seahawks?
Right.
Right. So you just find that little thing. Or if you, in today's world, you heard 2 women talking and they'd both gotten their COVID shots and this is their first coffee, right? And you go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you got your COVID shots. My mom's getting hers next week and I'm going to get mine as soon as I'm eligible, right?
Yep.
So you find that commonality, whatever it could be. So that's the second thing is, so the compliment, right? Then you find the commonality.
Yep.
Now, there is this third thing that's kind of weird.
We call those first 2 com-coms.
Are we calling them com-coms?
So we call it the compliment and we call it the commonality. So
okay.
You can com-com someone.
Com-com someone. Let me think about that.
Because what if you compliment them and you find the commonality? Yeah. That's com squared. And now you're just in the different stratosphere. That person's probably leaving you money.
Okay, well, there you go. So
com effect.
There is an attraction with appearance.
Are you telling me that it's good to be attractive to someone?
We as a species are attracted to attractive people.
Are you guys listening to this? Everybody shut up and listen to what Deb's saying right now. We are attracted, wait for it, to attractive people. Groundbreaking stuff. People. I don't care about aliens anymore. Tell me more about this thing.
So now I'm just going to go to an advertising forum. Okay. So think about a jet. Think about a hot car. Think about a speedboat. Think about those kinds of things.
Everything from the 80s. Think about that.
You don't see one without a beautiful woman posed next to it.
Fair.
And the thing is what do they want you to see? They want you to look at the beautiful woman.
Yep.
That's what they want you to look at. And then the belief is that if you buy that thing, that's your route.
That's the lifestyle of the beautiful woman.
To the beautiful woman, okay? Because a woman in a bikini, it's actually weird with a woman in a bikini and heels to be sitting.
On the front end of a car? On the
front end of a car.
Yes, very.
I mean, that's strange. Or look like she's, walking up towards a private jet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all.
She doesn't even have any luggage with her. Why is she in a bikini wearing heels? Where is she going for the afternoon?
Not so much on the speedboat, but kick the heels off, girlfriend.
Sure.
Right? Okay. So there is just that subconscious thing. So the other thing is, it's not that we all look like that girl, but there is a thing about looking our best, right?
Of course.
And when I described this older gentleman, I mean, I did describe him, like I said, he hadn't aged that well, but he was always clean and tidy. He looked as good as that man was ever going to look, which made him approachable. Do you know what I mean? To be able to talk to. So that is that thing about ourselves of showing up and really not looking like we rolled out of bed, looking the best we can, because we stand a better chance, right?
Yep.
No matter who we are, no matter how tall, short, big, wide, slim, whatever it is, age, that we look at the best, I'm just going to say, for our category, if you will, that we can accomplish these other two things.
What's really interesting about that is you've known me for a while now.
Well, yeah, a little while.
And for as long as I can remember, I've never left this house without a shower, proper hygiene, and trying to look my best. I don't know when that became a thing, but I feel like, and this is going to go way off in a different direction. Everybody remembers Pamela Anderson. Do you know how she was found?
Mm-mm.
There was like a television executive producer who went to a Dodgers game. And the Dodgers stadium camera crew was just panning the crowd and people were cheering and yelling. And she ended up on screen because obviously she's very beautiful, but she was just attending the game. That's all she was doing. She was just attending the game. And that guy saw her and said, I don't know if she has any skills whatsoever, but this appearance makes sense for Hollywood. Somebody go find this person. Now, nobody has picked me out of obscurity and put me on a nationally syndicated television show. But I believe that is the benefit of, hey, I put myself together. I'm trying to make the best out of whatever it is that I have in hopes of ingratiating myself to whoever to not necessarily get what I want. She didn't go to the baseball game to get anything other than have a good time, but to maybe be told or to maybe experience something you wouldn't have if you just threw on Kirkland brand sweats, pulled your hair back and put a hoodie on and looked like we're recovering from a 2-day bender.
So Kevin, that story is true?
1,000%.
Oh, okay.
Did you think I just was capable of making that up off the top of my head?
I was going to say it was a good one.
No, yeah. I mean, I wish I did now, but no, I believe that's 1,000% true. The details might be a little bit off, but that is exactly how she was found.
Okay. So if we go back to the barista, right? Now, that person in line, I've paid them a compliment. We are wired to pay a compliment back. I mean, we are wired to kind of be reciprocal in compliments, if you will, right? But I don't really do that. So that likability thing, I've given you this gift. I've said that, I like your glasses, or, hey, I love the Seahawks too,
right.
Whatever it is. As a customer, what can you do for me? Well, you're there to order a latte or whatever you're there to order.
Right.
If I say, would you like a fresh pastry? That's really the only thing you can do for me.
Yep.
That is the only reciprocal thing you can do for the compliment, if you will. And so your chances of selling that other thing or influence my buying, whichever you want to call it, just went up, extremely went up. I mean, the numbers are high that the chances are you're going to buy more. And not only are the chances high that you're going to buy more, the chances are high that you're going to come back.
So let me recap this. We're going to com. What does that mean? We're going to compliment people. We're going to find something that is unique to them that we genuinely find compliment worthy so as to establish a little bit of a rapport. We're going to find a commonality with someone, again, trying to establish a little bit of a one-on-one, hey, we do share likeness. And we are going to do our best to highlight who we are in the form of attractiveness, not saying that someone's going to only deal with people who are buxom blondes or shredded Abercrombie and Fitch models, but people who are trying and putting their best foot forward as a representative of their own brand or the brand of the company that they're working for.
Kevin, take it over. You did it.
Thank you. I mean, I'm nothing if not a calm, attractive guy.
So here's the thing that it also does. For that continuing relationship, when I said earlier, it's a little bit different for our customers that have walked in, that are coming in every day, that are like, hey, Kev, right? I mean, they know you,
Yep.
right? So because you've laid the groundwork when they were new,
Yep.
that you were likable, they responded, which made them likable,
Yep.
right? I mean, you see, and now you have what we're just going to call is a barista customer friendship
Yep.
in that place, right? We have that with a girl at Starbucks.
True.
We walk in and she yells at us by name and it feels like old home week, right?
Yep.
So she's done that effectively, with us. She's played that role. So I think the part about that is it actually doesn't occur to us at some point to not like that person.
Oh, of course.
Because
why would you ever be mean to the person who, without knowing anything about you, decided they were going to be nice to you?
Exactly. Last week we talked about working with people we don't like, right? Now I'm not talking about the evildoers of the world.
Right.
I'm talking about people that might be irritating,
Yep.
right? Or that might annoy you a little bit.
Correct.
These same things apply. I mean, really, it's up to us, and we can offer, the same, if you will, the same tactics. Because if I'm working with somebody and I pay them a compliment, or I show interest in a commonality that they and I share, what it does, it diffuses the irritation. It diffuses the thing that I might find annoying, right?
Yep.
And it creates a friendship in the workplace. But the thing about doing it with customers is that you are more deeply embedding them in the fabric of your company. You're more deeply embedding them in their relationship with you. Because if you're the barista every morning, pretty soon it's Kevin this, Kevin that. Hey, how's it going?
Right.
They know a little bit about your outside life, right? You're going to college or whatever it is. And then the other part of it is you are actually able to influence some of their buying habits because you're likable.
Love it, Deb. Makes sense to me. Principles, likability. And if you've taken one thing from it, it's be a calm person.
Be a calm person. That's what. Do you do that so you can remember words, Kev? Is that what you do?
I mean, not really. It just sounded fun. Calm's fun. It feels like that'd be like a Japanese video game.
Calm. It does sound like that. Yeah.
Segue. Speaking of video games, we haven't played Use It in a Sentence in a long time. And I love the game because it obviously puts you in an uncomfortable position where I'm giving you words you don't know anything about and forcing you to come up with their proper usage. We have exhausted every millennial and Gen Z word. The generations have not come up with anything new that is appropriate for this podcast for us to talk about. We have looked back on words from the era where you were growing up to see if you could properly use them. You did a great job. We're just going to take our attention and focus it into the insanely fast growing world of streaming. So I've talked about Twitch before.
Can you define streaming for the listening audience and me?
Technically, if we were just doing this live, meaning this was just going out over the interwebs for anybody to watch us right now, we would be considered streamers.
Oh, like radio. Is
but
radio live?
No. It's video. It's got to be video. You got to see it.
Oh, okay.
And of course, streaming started with video games. People wanted to watch other really talented people play video games. And then from that, it's like we've talked about, people cook on stream, people eat on stream, people just sit and talk on stream. But there is a language that comes with this, and it is obscure and it is shorthanded. So I'm going to give you a bit of an insider's view as to what some of these words are. A lot of these words are going to be emotions, and that stems from something called emotes. So on Twitch, when you're streaming, if you have your own Twitch account, let's say 1,000 people are watching you, okay? They can type in the chat box. So next to your face is the chat with 1,000 different people who can talk with one another. They can talk at you, and they can just talk random nonsense. They have emotes that are very similar to emojis, just little digital icons that they can put in there. Those digital icons connote emotion. All right, so some will be sad, some will be happy, and they don't have to look like emojis. They can be original to that particular streamer, meaning Deb said, I took a picture of an apple, drew a face on it, and that to this particular chat means excited. Okay? Because
So is it being redefined all the time?
Kind of, but then there are universal words and emotes that people use. So acknowledging this, that a lot of the words I'm going to present to you are emote-based words.
Okay.
That's going to be the biggest hint that you get.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready? Again, this is how this works.
But you're not going to give me one that was just invented by one person and only used one
No, these are ubiquitous to streamers. Everybody who has streamed, everybody who has watched streaming for longer than a minute understands these words. The rules of the game are simple. I give you the word. I give you the part of speech. These aren't real words, so they don't actually have part of speech. I gave you the long dissertation about what they essentially come from.
But it's emotions.
Totally.
Okay.
Is this where, no, 1 minute hypotheticals where you can ask questions. You just have to use these.
I have to make a story.
Yes. Your first word, and I'm going to give you 3 iterations of it, okay?
Oh, you're going to use
I
it in
can
a sentence?
feel the audience is gripped. Everybody's like, what the hell is Twitch?
People are still trying to understand it. Yeah.
What the hell is Twitch and what are these words? That's exactly right.
Isn't Twitch the guy with Ellen?
Nope. That is a guy, but
What's his name?
I have no idea. I think its name maybe is Twitch, but Twitch is twitch.com. It makes billions of dollars. I don't think that guy does.
Okay.
Your first word, 3 iterations of this word. Pog, P-O-G. PogChamp, P-O-G-C-H-A-M-P. Poggers, P-O-G-G-E-R-S. What does that mean in the Twitch community if you were to use it in a sentence? Pog, PogChamp, Poggers. I'm educating this entire audience. I hope there's at least 2 or 3 people who are listening who are like, this is amazing. I can't believe Kevin is using streaming words right now. But I guarantee you 99% of everybody else is like, what the hell are we doing?
So do those 3 things mean?
The same thing.
Okay. Poggers.
Pog, PogChamp, Poggers. Whichever one feels right, whichever one you think you have a better understanding of.
I was watching this game on Twitch the other day.
Okay, you were watching a streamer play a game on Twitch the other day, correct?
I was watching a streamer play a game on Twitch the other day.
Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was violent.
Okay, what violent game was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was called, I don't know.
Oh, I've never heard of that game. I'll bet it's pretty violent though, because I don't really like that stuff.
Yeah.
So you're watching somebody play, I don't know, a very violent video game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this guy was good that was playing. There was one guy in particular that was amazing.
Got it.
He was putting everybody else to shame.
Oh, so it was a multiplayer game.
Multiplayer game.
Got it.
I don't know.
Was it a first-person shooter game or just like an immersive life game?
Immersive life game.
Got it. Nice.
Okay. So I was watching it with a friend.
Okay. Multiple people watching the stream.
No, we're sitting together.
Great. Multiple people watching a screen.
Right.
Got it. Love it. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
The immersion.
Yeah. And I started seeing in the chat where
You said that correctly?
people wrote POG.
Which is what? Pog? Right.
Pog.
Right.
Right. Then I didn't pay much attention to it the first time I saw it.
Sure.
But then I saw a really excitable emoji. I'm going to say it was excitable.
Emote. Yeah.
Yeah, emote. Oh, we call it emote.
Yeah.
And it said POG champ.
PogChamp. Nobody says POG. You wouldn't be like, hey, look at that 4 little CAT over there. You. Okay.
So.
Get there. I know you can get there. I know you can get there. Commit to the word.
So my friend said to me, you know, this is the first time I've watched anything like this.
Yep.
This is super interesting.
Sure.
But what is PogChamp?
Okay.
I'm so curious.
Right. Kind of like what I just said to you. What is PogChamp? Go ahead, use it in a sentence.
And I said, well, POG.
Pog
stands for piece of garbage.
No, wrong. I'm going to help you out here. It's not an abbreviation. It exists as an emotion. Use Pog as an emotion.
Well, POG.
Don't know why you keep spelling it. There are no periods. There are no hyphenations. It is the word unto itself. We have an hour left. This is going to be the longest episode ever.
Is so awful.
Just commit to it. It doesn't matter. There is a right and wrong answer.
Okay, so I said, well, you know me. You know how I am. You know my emotions.
Yep.
I said, I'm a pug master. And they said, really? And I said, yes. And I said, a pug master is somebody that is so excitable and positive and keeps the game going.
Use that word in a sentence now. Say it. How would you say it?
I'm incredibly puggy.
Pog means people, they say this to show amazement. So you'd be like, Pog, that's awesome.
Yes, that's what I meant. I just used
Jesus,
excitement.
woman.
Oh, this is hard.
Commit to the bit, lady.
Okay.
Commit to the
do I get
bit.
a point?
Oh,
do I get a point?
You get like a half a point.
No.
Because it took us 20 minutes to get to. And you felt the need to spell out a 3-letter word. All right.
Okay.
You actually might know this one. I think you might know this one.
Okay.
SWAT or swatting? This has been in the news. SWAT, W-S-A-T, or swatting. It's an action. It's a verb.
Okay. So
pause for effect.
when I'm playing,
what game are you playing?
I don't know.
Just say Zelda.
Zelda?
There you go.
Okay. When I play Zelda, sometimes I have to gather my characters.
Okay.
And so that they're like reinforcements.
Got it.
So that I can swat through the enemy.
No. Swatting is the act of calling in a false report to police about someone with grave enough accusations to cause a SWAT team to show up to a victim's location. People who have played first-person shooter games together like Call of Duty or Fortnite will get so enraged by the people that they play against that if they have any of their personal information, they're so horribly upset that even if they're in a different state, they'll call 911 on the person, say that the person has like a bomb or a gun, and the SWAT team will show up. That has happened many, many times where people have been on stream and like doors have been kicked in.
Doesn't that feel a little manic?
A little? Yeah. Sociopathic.
That is crazy.
But that's a real thing. Here's the next one.
Okay.
This is going about as well as I assumed it was going to go.
Yeah.
But that's pretty well. Pepe hands.
Pepe hands.
P-E-P-E hands. Pepe hands. Again, think of emotes. Think of emotions.
Pepe hands are when a master player is really in the mix of it and can do stuff so fast. It's unbelievable to the other players and the people watching.
Use it in a sentence, lady.
Oh my gosh, did you see that guy that's controlling Zelda? His Pepe hands are remarkable.
Zelda's the name of the game. Link is the actual person in the game.
Okay.
Pepe hands conveys sadness. So if you were playing Link and you died, the chat would respond with Pepe hands. Pepe hands.
Pepe hands?
Sad. Pepe hands.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever
Okay,
heard.
Deb, here's another verb for you.
Okay.
Jabate or jabated. J-E-B-A-I-T. Jabate. It's a verb as it relates to a streamer. You jabate, you jabated somebody. What does that mean?
I think what it means is like you really got them. You took advantage of them. You tricked them.
Use it in a sentence.
I was playing against this guy from Indianapolis. I mean, I know that's where he's from because I saw his personal info.
Yep.
And did I jabate him? Yay!
Jabated means a streamer or member was baited or tricked into believing or doing something.
Yay.
Good job, Deborah.
Deb.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a couple more here. We're definitely going to stop after 5. Deb, what does it mean to mauled M-A-L-D, mauled. What emotion, what action would maulding be?
Maulding?
Yes. M-A-L-D, mauled.
I don't have any idea.
Yep, that's the point of this game. Feel free to slap that baby on in a sentence.
Okay, so I was watching a game the other day.
Okay, what game? Do you remember?
Zelda.
Got it.
I was watching a game the other day. And do people get killed in Zelda?
Link does.
Okay. And Link, it looked like he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen.
Okay.
Instead, he mauled the other guy.
Oh, like a bear?
No, that's M-A-U-L-D. This is M-A-L-D.
Got it. So in your world, what does mauled mean?
Well, mauled means that he ran him over, took advantage, and got away.
What if I told you after this segment's over, Deb is very, very much so going to mauled?
What does mauled mean?
To become angry so much that you lose your hair.
Who even comes up with, is it like a version of bald?
So yes, because you're mad and you're balding, you're maulding.
Kevin, this is not going to ever catch on to the real world. I don't know why we're doing this.
I watch streamers, people who are sitting in front of a computer, no different than what I'm doing, stream to 6-figure chats.
Why don't we just become the people that eat and talk and people watch us?
The second you want to do that, we have all the equipment for it, and I'll be happy to set that up. But I'm already carrying this thing. I can't do a whole nother Twitch account.
Okay, go ahead. Are we done?
That's it. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought you would get swatting, just maybe you had heard about it over the news.
I did think of a SWAT team, but I didn't know. Yeah. No, I don't know any of these things.
For you to get debate's pretty good. If I had just said Monka, do you know what Monka would be?
No.
Okay.
But I'll look it up for next time.
Monka is what you would be before we ever use it in a sentence.
What is Monka?
Nervous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Deb's very Monka, and before we use it in a sentence, and she's maulding after we play it.
Maulding, yeah. Hair is falling out. Well, it turned white. Now it's falling out.
That's about as good as we could have gotten, if I'm being honest with you. As we wind this podcast down, whether that was a successful segment or not, Deb, please tell me what you, yourself, a singular person in this world of chaos, is thankful for.
I am thankful. This is kind of a funny thankful.
Oh, okay.
But we found a new groomer, and Nola, who looked like a bear yesterday.
A friggin' grizzly bear.
And looked like she'd put on 100 pounds.
Easily.
During COVID.
Looks like, she went full-blown agoraphobic, never left the house, stress ate everything.
Yeah.
Bought a bunch of cats she couldn't afford to take care of, and for the first time saw sunlight yesterday.
So I took her to this new groomer who I loved the groomer. Nola does not like to be groomed. So I think it was a little sketchy for Nola.
Oh yeah. Biggest scaredy cat in the world.
But we're going to take her back more frequently. But Nola now looks like she lost 50 pounds.
Yep.
And looks like $1 million.
Yep.
And is, I think, super happy. I mean, she's gorgeous.
What is that? Is that a helicopter that just flew over the house?
I think a helicopter just flew over.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but it sounded like World War III was about to start. Sorry, but yes.
So I'm grateful that she no longer looks like a bear, and that she seems very happy and proud with how she looks right now.
If she wasn't so dependent on love and affection, that dog would look at you and be like, hey, can we do this more often, please?
Exactly.
Like, you saw what I looked like. The before and after, she'd be on one of those Sarah McLachlan commercials.
Yeah, no, seriously.
So the fact that she looks like what she looks like now, I just hope that she's feeling herself because she looks fantastic.
She looks beautiful.
My thankful goes back to this Tuesday where I'm just enjoying my evening, going about my night, and all of a sudden, Corey Workman, who we've mentioned on this podcast, sends me an image, a text, and he's just casually playing D&D with his family.
Yay, Corey.
Like the coolest thing in the world to get the player sheet, to see his little figurine, to see the dice in the background. It was like it was like a proud papa moment for me. I had spread the gospel of D&D to somebody who was playing it with his loved ones. I asked him the next day how he enjoyed it, and he said 11 out of 10. Can't wait to play again.
So that makes you love Corey even more, right?
For sure. It was so very cool. Tickled me pink. I said, you've already made my week, and it's only Monday. And he said, it's actually Tuesday, but that's just how excited I was. I completely forgot what day of the week it was.
Principle of likability.
Principle of likability. We commed. We found compatibility.
You did.
Deborah, tell me what we're eating for dinner besides pollen.
Fish tacos.
Oh, clearly we're not battering this, or do we have a gluten-free batter, or are we grilling them?
We're grilling them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of taco? What kind of fish?
I think we're going to do salmon.
Okay, a little San Diego fresh West Coast style.
Yeah. Do you like that?
I love it. Do you remember the first time you ever had a fish taco? Where you would have had a fish taco?
Oh my gosh. I don't remember, but I do know that it was battered for sure.
Of course.
Yeah. Because I can't eat those now, and I would love to have them.
I know.
Right?
I believe up until I stopped eating gluten, at the point that somebody asked me, like if I ordered a fish taco and they said like battered or grilled, I think I was disgusted that they would even offer me grilled.
Exactly.
Why would I want trashy, not bread-coated fish?
It was kind of like having a fish and chips in a taco.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Whoever came up with that, because that's all they did, right? They took fish and chips and they put it
smaller pieces
in a tortilla, and they charged twice as much.
And then slapped a little coleslaw on top and said, let's call it fish tacos.
I don't even remember the first time I had a fish taco. I feel like it would have been like you would have made it for us.
I've had so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't remember the first time either, but I do love fish tacos. And it's a different from the normal, that we do.
When you make your coleslaw for fish tacos, is it more of like a vinegar-based coleslaw or a creamy-based coleslaw?
It's creamy, but I do put a lot of lime juice in it. So it has a bite.
But and it's that broccoli carrot coleslaw pre-sliced?
I use whatever I have. I mean, I could use the broccoli, the broccoli slaw. Yeah, I've used that. I've used regular coleslaw stuff. But then if I use regular coleslaw, I normally, slice up a bunch of onions and jalapenos and that stuff, put it in it. But I've used both because I do use usually like a sour cream kind of thing that with the creamy. I want the rest of it to be healthy. Makes sense to me.
That's going to do it for us on this Monday episode of the Deb and Kev podcast. Remember to like, rate, and review wherever you listen to this. It doesn't matter where you listen to it. Like,
doesn't matter.
Rate, review, tell all your friends about this podcast. You can also follow us on all of our social channels at Deb and Kev Pod, and you can watch this episode and you can see our coughing faces at our YouTube channel at Deb and Kev Pod. We made it through it. You sounded sickly, but I think for the most part, everybody understood it.
I feel great. That's the part about it is it's just, and I think it's probably from traveling because stuff is in bloom here.
I just want to say the last time Deb said she felt great and said, I think it's just from traveling.
I didn't travel for 13 months.
There was a global pandemic that shortly followed. We hope you all have a wonderful start to your week. Mom, I love you to death.
I love you, baby.
We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Thank you for listening to the Deb and Kev podcast. Remember to like and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. Follow Deb and Kev on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter at Deb and Kev Pod.